Hello, YouTube subscribers. I was gonna say TikTok subscribers. Sorry, because I've been doing TikToks lately. I'm sorry it's been since the 4th of July since I last made a blog. A lot has been going on, which whenever I start doing my blogs again here, hopefully soon, I'll go over everything. But today I wanted to talk about, since I made a TikTok video about my tantrums and meltdowns, I wanted to talk about my tantrums and meltdowns a little more in depth today. Okay, so as a lot of you know, people with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, tend to have not just tantrums like a regular kid or adult when they don't get what they want or things like that, but they also can have meltdowns due to sensory overload, just not being able to the frustration, not being able to socialize properly, a lot of reasons, but mainly it's because of sensory overload from a lot of people on ASD. Mine's slightly because of that, but it also can be brought on by something else. I also have depression too, so that makes a meltdown or tantrum even more. And usually when I have a meltdown or tantrum, usually I just cry and just scream my head off. This can last anywhere between 5 minutes to several hours. The other weekend I had a meltdown/tantrum because what we were doing last weekend, along with everything else that has been going on before that, just kind of overwhelmed me. We were moving my big stuff from my apartment in Fairmont to my apartment in Moundsville. So from Moundsville, West Virginia, all the way up to, I want to say, Pittsburgh, PA, which is about an hour or so trip, I had a full-on meltdown. And what can happen with me during a meltdown, because I also have depression too, my depression acts up. So what can happen is, usually a lot of people with autism, depending on the type of meltdown, so let me explain. Just give you a brief rundown of meltdowns in general for autism. There are some people with autism who will have a meltdown where they'll punch, kick, want to hurt you, hurt themselves. For me, I don't punch and kick. I cry and scream my head off, like I said, but because I also have depression, that magnifies it where I want to either kill myself or I basically want to elope. And what eloping is, if you don't know, it's mostly common in younger little kids with autism, but what they want to do when they elope is they want to just run off. They don't know anything about safety protocols or nothing. They just want to run away. And sometimes whenever I have my meltdowns, I'll either want to jump out of a car or just run, or if I'm at my parents' house like I am now and have a meltdown, I'll just run away and go down, because we have a bike path. I'll just run away down that. And usually I want to run away to go back to my house, which from here it's like 3 hours if you drive. And because I can't drive, when I have these meltdowns, my judgment is clouded, so I'll be like, I don't care about nothing. I'm just gonna elope and run home, no matter how long it takes me. I don't care if I get hurt, attacked by a wild animal, ran over by a car. It doesn't matter to me. When I have a meltdown, I want to go. Which whenever I was in South Carolina, if you know about my previous blogs earlier, we were in South Carolina staying for my dad's work. I'd come and visit. I'd go to my house, come down to visit him from time to time. When I'd have a meltdown, I'd want to go from run away from South Carolina to my house. Sometimes, if I'd get frustrated and upset enough, I'd even drag my cat along. I'd take her in the crate and drag her along. Also, during a meltdown, sometimes I will say things like, I want to get rid of my cat, just let her outside. I don't care what happens to her. I just want to let her go. I don't care about my maps. I don't care about anything. I just want to end my life. I don't care. I will say that during a meltdown too. Which also, during a meltdown, people will try to calm me down and ask me, hey, what's wrong? What's the matter? My parents in particular will do that. Other people sometimes will. Sometimes other people will just, if I'm in a room having one, they'll just leave me be, let me go at it. But whenever they ask me, hey, what's the matter, what's wrong, I usually say nothing, 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 because basically during a meltdown / depression episode, I will just shut down. I don't want anything to do with the world, don't want anything to do with anybody. I will basically just shut down. And what upsets me, which if I'm being honest, is it does kind of agitate my parents, whoever is trying to ask me what's going on, what's the matter. Which I get that it can frustrate them, but I do want them to know that, again, during a meltdown, I shut down. I don't want anybody to ask me what's wrong. I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes during a meltdown, I'll just get upset just due to overload of what's going on with my life and stuff like that. I'll just get upset and I don't know why. And I can't tell people, and then when people get mad because I won't tell them what's wrong, it gets me even more upset. Sometimes also during a meltdown, I sometimes do wish that people would just come up to me and just give me a hug and just comfort me and try to more or less calm me down. But it is hard to get people to do that when I sometimes close up and I don't really want to talk about anything or talk at all during a meltdown, so I can't tell them, hey, I want a hug, give me a hug, calm me down, tell me everything's alright. It's really hard. Do meltdowns frustrate me? Absolutely yes, but just due to the fact that it's a part of autism life, I can't really control it. Now, have I had meltdowns since I've talked about work, which go ahead and watch that video. I'll link my whole autism playlist in the description below so y'all can watch it. I've actually had meltdowns at work because I've gotten into fights with coworkers, on top of having to do my job, then having the aggravation of fighting with a coworker, it causes you to have a meltdown. And I've literally have gotten so upset, I again eloped, walked out of work because I couldn't handle it. I've walked out of both of my jobs that I've had a couple times, believe it or not. Which the fact that these employers did take me back after them episodes was a miracle, because if you're neurotypical, it's not really acceptable for you to just walk out in the middle of your shift and not return for the day. That's pretty much just called job abandonment, and that's not really acceptable. So yes, I've had meltdowns at my job too. It's one of the things I do wish, in all honesty, is I wish I didn't have these meltdowns, because again, not only does it frustrate me on the inside, and it's hard for me to express it when I have a meltdown because I shut down, more or less, it's hard on everybody else. Everybody else gets frustrated with me, they get frustrated if the meltdown's happening, and it ends up being a chaotic mess. Now with tantrums, these mostly happened when I was younger. Sometimes they happen now, but a lot of the time now when they happen, because of my depression, they go from a tantrum to a meltdown, which a neurotypical kid, just like with me, whenever I don't get what I want or something, or whenever I didn't get a toy or something as a little kid, I would have the crying fit like any neurotypical child would. So if you're wondering about a tantrum, yeah, which my tantrums and meltdowns kind of look the same because I cry during both and scream my head off during both. So with me, it's kind of harder to tell. But, again, as I've seen and read about other autistics, it might be easier because they might, let's say a little kid doesn't get a toy on the spectrum, they might cry, do what I do. And then if they get sensory overload and have a melt, they might hit, punch, knock out doors, it varies. But I have temper tantrums when I don't get things that I want, especially when I was younger, like a normal child would. But, yeah, that is basically how my meltdowns are. I just wanted to make a video going into more depth, which I will also link the TikTok version, which you can only do 3 minutes or so on TikTok, and I didn't want to make a couple parts. So I will link the TikTok one down below too, and I will link this video in our TikTok video as well. So remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Go ahead and check out my playlist and stay tuned for more blogs. And thank you to the 2 new subscribers I have. I now have 19 subscribers. I'm kind of shocked that my channel is growing, but slowly. Not that I want to be completely famous, but if y'all like me and want to follow, great. Hopefully I'll become famous and can get people to understand me better. And hopefully I will motivate an adult that's autistic or a teenager that's autistic that can do YouTube to talk about their experience with ASD, to help everybody understand our world better. So thank you all for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and have a great day, y'all.